All right, all right. April 13th, 2006. Los Angeles, California. I'm an undergrad at UCLA. I have no idea that I'm queer. I'm working a couple of part-time jobs, and my entire social circle revolves around this drumming group. And I would like to think of myself as like an early adopter of the internet, as in like dial-up times. And ever since I was in elementary school, I would go down these internet spirals reading different articles, and it would just take hours and hours. Back then, they called it surfing the web. I don't know why surfing, but so like on this particular night, I was surfing the web, and I came across this blog post that changed my life. On April 13th, 2006, you guys, Google Calendar Beta was born, and my life changed forever. So I produce a podcast, and if I had it my way, this is where music would start. If you don't know what Google Calendar is, as my co-host and best friend Tobin, who I have to mention because we're basically life partners at this point, would say, what's your damage? And number two, it's an online calendar, it's not hard. So I love Google Calendar. You've got daily view, weekly view, monthly view, now they have yearly view. You can have multiple calendars, and the key is to color code, because then you know that personal life, work life, they can be turned on and off. There's time zone support. You guys, drag and drop features. I can go on, but I won't. So, May 1st, 2006, I put in my very first Google Calendar entry, and it said, Maya at 12 p.m. Maya was the professor I worked for. It was simple, it was easy, and I was like, yeah, I can work with this. So I like to think of my life as like before Google Calendar and after Google Calendar, and we've entered after Google Calendar. And I literally have no idea what happened before then. So like, here are some of my very first entries. May 26th, 2006. I watched a movie called Peaceful Warrior that claimed to be located in Berkeley, but it was actually filmed at UCLA. It was a fraud. June 1st, 2006, I stopped eating meat. June 2nd, 2006, I actually stopped eating meat because I had some leftover Spam musubi, and you don't want to waste that. December 2nd, 2006, I feel like nobody's going to care about this except for me. UCLA finally beats USC in football 13-9. It's a day that lives down in infamy, and we won't talk about any of the other years. In 2007, I start doing something that I think is absolutely normal, but people think is weird, which is like, instead of just planning out my week or month or sometimes year, at the end of the day, I would go back and modify my calendar to show exactly what I actually did. Thank you. You guys get me. So like, for example, in college, instead of having like a week of study at 4 p.m., I would have like study from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., write my paper from like 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., or like procrastinate from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Like every little thing I did, I would put in there. And it was quite a difference between what I thought I would do and what I actually did. But like, what I didn't know at the time was that I was basically documenting my entire life via Google Calendar. For example, okay, August 23rd, 2007, my family is in Japan, and we take the most Asian photo in that nobody smiles, and we're just looking straight ahead. September 3rd, 2007, I start my study abroad program in Taiwan. October 8th, 2007, I asked my favorite teacher to teach me more about Buddhism because I'm interested. In October and November, I progressively stay longer and longer after class to talk to my teacher because I'm interested in Buddhism. And November 15th, 2007, my favorite teacher takes me to see some Buddhist statues that she loves. And then there's like no real entries until I get back to LA after New Year's, and I'd like to think of that time as grappling with my sexuality. And it's kind of weird that I can just tell that by looking at the Google Calendar, because I wasn't at the time telling my friends about it. I wasn't like writing things down anywhere. I was not a journaler because I journal typically by writing 2 things, forgetting about it for a year, discovering it a year later, and then be horrified. And then, crucially, burn it. So, but I did notice a pattern, which is that when I'm stressed or depressed or sad, I tend to not be able to like document as much as I wanted to, and only the really important dates remain. I know the dates that I came out to my mom, because that happened multiple times. Listen to the podcast, that's where it happens. I know the dates and times of the times that my heart has been broken. That's happened more than once. And it's surprising to me that like looking at those dates, just swiping back, brings me back to that exact moment with like this exactness I didn't know was possible without journaling. Again, not a journaler, will never be a journaler. And I don't know, I think I continue to do this because number one, gotta stay organized. You cannot not be organized. Multiple calendars, color-coded. It's very important. But also, like, they're like, to me, like Kathy data points. Like whenever I want to understand myself better or figure myself out as like a queer person, a podcast host, I look back on my calendar and it sort of like helps me figure out what kind of person I am now today. So I'm gonna leave you with this timeline of how I feel, maybe where I am now. September 29th, 2013, my co-host Tobin and I meet for the very first time, and I worry that he doesn't like me. January 15th, 2014, my grandmother on my dad's side passes away. She had dementia. September 25th, 2015, Tobin and I give a 5-minute live pitch in front of WNYC. I nearly throw up. We win. Thank you. June 14th, 2016, my grandmother on my mom's side passes away after 20 years living with Parkinson's. April 14th, 2017, I start taking anti-anxiety medication. October 5th, 2017, Lena Waite says on tape that she and I are close personal friends. February 5th, 2018, I think that's today, I get to stand in front of all of you telling you about my weird, enduring love of Google Calendar. Thanks.